Everyone's feeling the pinch when it comes to paying for the weekly supermarket shop, but imagine spending $42,000 on groceries in just 1 month. That's what one food bank has been forced to do. It's the Kindness Collective charity. It's helping thousands of people each week, and the desperate calls for help and referrals, many from government departments, just keep coming. Joining us now is the Kindness Collective Chief Executive and Founder, Sarah Page. Thank you very much for your time this morning, Sarah. Now, you didn't set up the Kindness Collective as a food bank, but that is mainly what you do at the moment.
Yeah, Morena, Lloyd, thanks so much for having us. We've been in operation for about 10 years, so we've been about providing essentials and moments of joy for families in need. In the last 12 months, we've seen a really massive spike in need in the community and referrals that are coming to us every day. The need is growing. So we've had to actually move to a bigger premises. We've had to set up a bigger food bank, and the requests keep coming in from agencies that we support every day.
So how many people are you supporting in a given week?
Look, it changes depending on what's going on in the community, but last week 2,256 people received essentials from the Kindness Collective. We're doing food boxes anywhere from 60 to 600, and then it's also we're providing bulk food for organisations and schools and other agencies as well.
Okay, that's a lot of food and a lot of boxes and a lot of families you're supporting. Where does the money come from? How do you fund it?
Yeah, so we're funded by the generosity of the community. So it's individuals, it's funders like the Gatting Foundation, it's generous businesses like the Warehouse Group and Tegel. That means we can keep operating. We don't receive $1 of government funding, and we're supporting multiple government agencies every day.
Okay, so you get no government funding at all, no taxpayer funding, and yet, when you say that government agencies are referring their clients to you?
Yeah, so we're receiving referrals every single day from the New Zealand Police, or Te Whatu Ora, different hospitals, health boards, Oranga Tamariki, corrections even, Kāinga Ora, lots of social services. I mean, we're 158 different community partners around the country, and then we're receiving these referrals every single day for families in need that we're having to support with food and essentials, because it's just, there's no support in the community, and it's getting worse and worse every week.
So no government funding. Have you asked the government for funding?
We have. We have met with MSD last year, but we're just told that, you know, there isn't enough to go around. And we're seeing lots of food banks and services having to close down and cut services and heavily restrict the criteria that for families to access food support. And it's getting harder and harder for people to be able to access food equally. And look, food's a human right. We should be able to all have access to food, especially in a country like New Zealand that's, you know, plentiful.
Have you asked to meet with Christopher Luxon, the Prime Minister?
Yeah, we have. So we've invited him to come to our community hub and see what we're doing, and to hear the stories of the people that we're supporting. And look, they're everyday Kiwis. They're hard-working people. A lot of the people that find themselves in hardship are people that have gone through tough situations and find themselves, you know, unable to support their family that week. And we're seeing a lot more of those people. We have asked them to come down, and we will continue to keep doing so.
Okay. Have you seen an increase in the number of, like, you know, just your general middle class families who are finding it harder and harder? And are you expecting that to get worse as we go into winter?
Yeah, look, we're getting ready for winter as an organisation, and we do the PJ project as well, providing warm winter pyjamas for kids around the country. This year we're also going a couple of steps further to provide blankets and cost-effective heating options for families too, because we know it's going to be tough. We're seeing, you know, a level of referrals comparable to last year's flood and cyclones, except there's no flood and there's no cyclone. So it's only going to get worse, and especially as we're putting into play things like benefit sanctions and not increasing benefits with inflation. So we're expecting it to get busier, and we're expecting to be serving more people living in poverty.
Keep up the good work, Sarah. We've got to leave it there, but thank you very much for coming on the show this morning.
Thanks so
much. That is the Chief Executive and Founder of the Kindness Collective, Sarah Page. Okay, can I just talk to you about the Kindness Collective? We had the Chief Executive, Sarah Page, who was on there. Kindness Collective's essentially just operating as a food bank now, but they do a whole lot more in the community. They get no funding at all from the government. They get it from corporations, and they get it from just good old Kiwi people who are donating money to them. I think Tegel and the Warehouse and stuff give them chickens and stuff. But I asked, the whole lot of government departments are referring people to her. Here's a grab of what she told us earlier in the show.
We're funded by the generosity of the community. So it's individuals, it's funders like the Gatting Foundation, it's generous businesses like the Warehouse Group and Tegel that means we can keep operating. We don't receive $1 of government funding and we're supporting multiple government agencies every day. New Zealand Police, or Te Whatu Order, different hospitals, health boards, Oranga Tamariki, corrections even, Kāinga Order, lots of social services.
I mean, this is like your government departments. She listed them off there, and yet they're not getting any government funding. Why is that?
Yeah, well, what I'd say, Lloyd, is look, I've visited a lot of food banks. I was in one just a couple of weeks ago in Napier, and firstly, the staff in the food banks are doing an incredible job. And what I observe as well is that you've got low and middle income earners that are in food banks on record levels of numbers that didn't plan on being there or don't want to be there, but they need to be there because it's incredibly tough with rising inflation and with the cost of living crisis that everyone's dealing with. What we're doing as a government is making sure that we can actually get Kiwis to keep more of their own money in their own pocket. Part of that is with the announcement you saw yesterday with Family Boost. That's a really important initiative to be able to help Kiwis do that. And as we've talked about before, you'll see in the budget that we're going to give tax relief to low and middle income earners. You know, we have to get our economy rebuilt. We have to get our economy growing. And so, you know, we don't want to see people in food banks, but but people are going there in record numbers because it's such a tough time. And I acknowledge that it's a really tough time. Our government's determined to fix and rebuild the economy so Kiwis can get ahead.
But isn't it ridiculous that police, corrections, hospitals, MSD, they're sending people to food banks which are on their bones of their bum. Last week they gave 2,261 people food parcels. Shouldn't they just get some money from you guys, given it's your government departments that are referring people to them?
Yeah, look, well, there's a food network across the country, and I just say to you, they do incredible work, and also they're well supported, often by businesses that are stepping in and actually, whether it's the food grocery retailers, whether it's local businesses on the ground, there's been good levels of support. And I just want to say thank you to all those people that do step in to make it work and to help it. But what we've got to do as a government is actually deal with the fundamentals that are in front of us, and that means we've got to lower inflation so those food prices come down. There's been some good progress. Inflation is tracking down. You saw food prices drop 9.3% just 2 weeks ago, and we've had no further interest rate rises. So we're on the right track, but there's a lot more for us to do, and a big part of that is giving low and middle income working New Zealanders who are in those food banks in record numbers relief through things like a Family Boost payment for early childhood costs, but also ultimately tax relief as well.
Another thing that Sarah Page, the Chief Executive of Kindness Collective, told us was that she's asked you 3 times, or your office 3 times, to meet with her, but you haven't even replied.
Oh, look, very happy to. I've spent a lot of time, as you know, over the last year and a half in food banks. That's one of the things I try and do when I go out into regions. I was at Nourish for Nil, as I said, just a couple of weeks ago. It's the second time I've been there, and I visit a number across the country as well, wherever I can. They do incredible work. They're obviously organised differently locally in different ways, but I'm very, very proud of having spent time with them, but also understanding the challenges of what the staff go through and just how much volunteers are involved in stepping up into that space to help and support their fellow Kiwi. I really admire the work of everyone in the food banks. I'd be very happy to meet with her.